Happy Veterans Day 2020. I thought I'd use this video to talk about the idea of enjoying what you have before it becomes what you had, especially in light of what happened this year. I've been thinking about several social situations that I handled quite inappropriately in the year before COVID, and how I only wish I could be as bothered as I was back then, now that I don't have the opportunity to do anything that approaches any of this anymore. So, about a year ago, I screwed up a job interview, and I hope you don't laugh about what had happened. What had happened was that I needed to talk to one of the interviewers over Zoom. I was interviewing at a private school. Okay, so I talked to the interviewer. I was thinking that I was living in an apartment with lots of roommates, and I never really felt comfortable there. So I thought I would go to the library, where there's a relatively quiet corner. I had a favorite seat over there, and it was just a nice, comfortable place to be. There's people there, but usually there's not a whole lot of noise, and I thought that would be okay. Now the problem is that during the interview, I got questions that were a little bit personal. The interviewer asked me how I would handle it if some of our students said inappropriate things, right? Things like sex or religion or whatever, right? And I'm in the library. There's kids that are like high school, middle school age kids there. I didn't really feel comfortable talking about this topic, and it caused me to be very guarded when I was talking. I don't know if that's what caused me to lose the job opportunity. Obviously, COVID happened just a couple weeks after the interview anyhow. After COVID, I'll think about talking to them again to see what's going on. But what I should have done was stood up for myself. I apologize. I didn't realize the interview was going to go this direction. Mate, this is not a good place to be talking about this. Could I call you back, right? I'm pretty sure that would have gone pretty well if I said it that way. Even if it didn't, that's kind of on them, right? I had a situation where I was also at another library. This was last winter, December, and this guy was sitting across from me from the table. It's kind of strange thinking back to it now. You would never sit at the same table as a stranger here in 2020. So he asked me if I could watch his stuff. He's just gonna step out for a moment. I don't think much of it, right? I make a lot of connections at the library, and he goes out, and he's out for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. And what was really annoying was that this was during the winter time, and that was one of the most beautiful days of that whole winter, and I was stuck there. And finally, he comes back, and I was upset, but I asked him, "Are you okay?" I wanted him to realize how long he had been away without actually saying it, so I just said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, he went out to get some food," and something like that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, seriously? And then he puts his food down, and he steps away for a second. I was like, "Excuse me, I gotta go." And no, I'm just going to the bathroom. And now I feel really violated, because when I said I gotta go, it kind of felt like I didn't give him permission to, or I didn't agree to watch his stuff, and now he's saying I just want to go to the bathroom. This is where I really should have put my foot down and actually stood up and left. For some reason, I didn't think of doing that. And unfortunately, in 2020, I haven't gotten a chance to practice with it. Fortunately, nothing has tied me up, but unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to practice these kind of scenarios. And now looking back at it, I shouldn't have been too upset over that. Another time I had gone to a coffee shop. We were watching a bunch of musicians perform. Obviously a very foreign sight here in 2020, right? When I was very upset that this guy had asked if he could sit next to me, because well, I guess I'm a little bit biased toward see, I like to think that I look very healthy, and that nobody would assume that I have unhealthy lifestyles. So when somebody who obviously has all sorts of unhealthy habits wants to associate with me, that kind of bothers me. That kind of means that maybe I'm not as healthy as I think I am. I sometimes get hurt when, especially, let's say I'm walking down the street and somebody begs me for a cigarette, which is pretty common here in the Seattle area. I mean, we have a lot of panhandlers as it is, and sometimes they just happen to ask for cigarettes. That really bothers me a lot, because it means that, am I unhealthy? Do I look like I could potentially be a smoker? I take it way too personally. I've since thought of it this way. Maybe the smoker is so unhealthy that his eyes are not working properly. That's how I've been trying to explain it to myself in recent times, but it still bothers me. I'd rather they be begging for change, maybe beg for some healthy foods, right? If he comes up to me and says, "Excuse me, do you have some quinoa or buffalo meat to share?" Oh my God, I would feel so good. I'd go out and buy him the best buffalo steak in the world, right? Because that would make me feel good. If somebody could see that I'm so healthy that I potentially, I don't know, maybe I'm just taking it a little bit personally. So anyways, I go to the coffee shop, and this guy, who obviously has all sorts of unhealthy habits, wants to sit next to me. I take it too personally. I get hurt for the rest of the night. And now thinking back at it, it will be a long time before we can sit next to anybody, right? Especially people who don't take good care of their immune systems. And we gotta appreciate that when it comes along, right? Hopefully, I hope to live long enough to see another, well, I don't hope for another pandemic, but if we do have one, I hope to live long enough to see the next one, because I learned a lot of life lessons from this one. There was another time when I didn't put my foot down. I was at a conference when one of my competitors was talking to me, and we were just talking nonsense. This was in Macau. And I kept getting stung by insects, and I really should have gone. And we were outside of the conference while we were on our way back to our hotel rooms. And I kept getting stung, and I just stood there for 20, 30 minutes talking to this guy. And now looking back at it, I should have put my foot down. I think part of the reason is that I get into this habit of everything's having a musical beat, and I hate to break that beat, right? To tell somebody that I gotta go and pack my stuff up, I can't watch your computer, or to what else was there? Oh, to tell the interviewer that I have, there's kids around me. This is not the best place to talk about this topic. Can I call you back, right? I just have a habit of getting so involved in the beat of the music, I can't break it until I can no longer take it, and then everything just blows up in my face, right? I talked about this in another video about my past eating disorder and how I lost one job over it because I blew up. I kept holding in, wanting to get to my food when there were many opportunities for me to speak up. And then I lost one job, and another job I got a bad review from one of my students. And I've lost, I do private tutoring, I've lost a number of clients over eating disorder kind of problems. But it's not only just the eating disorder, it's the fact that I don't put my foot down. Hey, this is my meal time. You're a little bit early, can you come back in 20 minutes? Or, our time is up, I'll be happy to answer your questions next session. Or, can we take a 10-minute break even, right? So if I had just put my foot down in any of those ways, they could have went a whole lot better, right? And hopefully in 2021 I'll get a chance to practice some of this.